everybody, and welcome to this week's highs and lows in wrestling here on the unofficial WWE podcast. Today is Sunday, August 15th, 2021. My name is Mimi Burris, and boy, do we have a lot to get into with Raw, NXT, Dynamite, SmackDown, the debut episode of AEW Rampage. We're coming up on SummerSlam. We're coming up on NXT TakeOver. We're coming up on Chicago. All Out. Guys, so much going on in the world of professional wrestling. I'm thrilled to be able to sit here and talk about it with you guys. And yeah, we were spoiled for choice in regards to the high and the low of the week. So we're going to get into all of it right after this.
Hardy with a powerful right hand knocking Sammy Guevara through the stage.
I want a divorce.
Oh!
Dog food! He's covered in dog food!
Very elevated up and over the top of the assistant.
Bailey, no! Get down!
You're kidding me!
You ruined my life! I told you I was gonna ruin yours!
I feed a whole family with this title.
As always, you guys, I hope you have all had a wonderful week this week. A whole lot going on in professional wrestling, like I talked about on the intro here, and a whole lot to get into, and clearly we won't be able to cover it all, but we will try to cover as much as we possibly can here, starting with Raw and moving all the way down to Rampage at the end of the week. So a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Before we get into this week in wrestling, I do want to very quickly plug Patreon, which is only $1 a month, guys. We're on Patreon. You can go on the app or the website or whatever you do and subscribe for just $1 a month if you're not already, and you get this entire library, all of these shows, Zach Smith's NXT TakeOver, Michael Ritter's SmackDown review, Matt's Raw review and Weekend review, and the new show on commentary we've got here, a bunch of other stuff that I probably forgot to mention. We've got a whole bunch of shows here that you can get completely ad-free for $1 a month on Patreon, as well as a bunch of other tiers if you want to be more involved here on the unofficial WWE podcast. On top of that, guys, if you don't like Patreon, if you're like, Patreon just not for me, I'm like an Apple iTunes kind of person, you can subscribe on there as well for I think a fee of $2.99 if I'm correct, but I could be wrong. You get 3 days free on that, and then you get all of these shows completely ad-free as well. So go check out either of those things if you're a normal person and hate ads like I do. But however, of course, we need them. It makes the world go round here. So though Patreon, iTunes, whatever you want to do, you can get all of these shows ad-free. So now, moving on from that, guys, obviously, like I said, this week was pretty crazy wrestling-wise. A whole bunch to get into. You know, really struggling lately, guys. I'm going to get honest with you here, just get real. Watching the WWE product lately, guys, and if you follow me on the Twitter at Mimi Burris, or if you ever listen to any of my shows, you know I'm just so unemotionally invested, so bored, so, like, I don't know why I invest 3 hours of my life on a Monday, which I don't spend 3 hours watching it, by the way, times 2 speed or whatever. Sometimes I just can't handle it, guys. 3 hours on Monday watching Raw, 2 hours on Tuesdays watching NXT that clearly the company is telling me just not to care about at this point. 2 hours watching SmackDown. It's just, I mean, I can't believe there are people out there that like spend their time watching Main Event, and we're going to actually talk about that show here on this podcast. Funny enough, I think that's the first time I've ever talked about Main Event on the highs and lows of the week. But yeah, there's some news coming out of there as well. So I just am so emotionally exhausted from watching these shows, guys. I don't know what it is. I know what it is. It's because the product sucks, but I don't know why. More so than lately, maybe I'm just valuing my time a little bit more because life is getting wonderfully busy for me. Why am I spending my time watching this crap at this point? I do not enjoy it. And I do love being able to come on here and talk about wrestling with you guys, but honest to God, I'm almost at the point where, like, I'm thinking, should we keep doing this show? Just because I can't stand, like, why are we speaking negatively about a product and trying to constructively criticize a product here? For the most part, right? Because we can be real. I think I've given Dynamite the low of the week here and there. But for the most part, guys, WWE, one of their shows takes the low for the week and rarely ever takes the high for the week. And I just, the few little glimpses of good stuff is great, but it's kind of overshadowed by this, like, aura of, like, lack of effort. They just don't care anymore. They genuinely don't care anymore, and you can tell by the crap that they put on every single week, guys. So why am I coming on here and trying to continue to be emotionally invested in something that I'm being told not to care about? And I hate to go on a rant right away just to start off the show, but what do I mean by that? Okay, clear example, guys. NXT. Our NXT, you've heard me talk about this on the show before too. Our NXT champion is Karrion Kross. They brought him up on the main roster, had him 50-50'd with Jeff Hardy. 40-something-year-old Jeff Hardy, who's been jobbing on main event for how long now? They 50-50 booked their NXT undefeated world champion on main event. It's not on main event, excuse me. On Monday Night Raw, they were having him on main event too. And then 50-50 booked him with Keith Lee as well. What? And then continue to release about half the NXT roster. All these people you get emotionally invested in. Yeah, I loved Mercedes Martinez, guys. I thought she was a really good, talented hand and could help a lot of the younger women in that locker room, refine a lot of their skills and move them on up to bigger and greater things. Some wrestlers, that's just their job, and Mercedes Martinez would have been great doing that. Bronson Reed has a huge following. A lot of people out there super upset about the release of Bronson Reed. Jake Atlas, one of the biggest names on the indies, guys, and he's going to go out and do amazing things as soon as, again, the indie circuit is a little bit more, in full gear, but not necessarily full throttle yet. So just depressing to have these people that you care about and you invest in get released from a company for no reason, because you don't need budget cuts, guys. This company is making billions of dollars, and I understand trimming the fat, but guess what? They wouldn't have to trim so much fat if they didn't just hoard all this talent so no other company, specifically AEW, could sign all this talent. Now AEW is getting a lot of the talent now, but guys, there's the indie circuit, like I said, is not what it used to be right now, and there's not as many places to work, and it's hard for these wrestlers who just move their entire lives over to, Florida or wherever, to, especially the NXT guys, move their entire lives to Florida, bought homes, and then get released for what? To save a couple of bucks, in a multi-billion-dollar company, to save a couple of bucks that's making record profits. I'm being told not to care about what's on my TV screen anymore. It is just content for content's sake. I swear WWE is just like a giant vlogging company on YouTube, it feels like at this point. They're essentially like the Vlog Squad. I don't know who that actually is, but I think that's a thing. So I'm dating myself, or I'm not hip, but I think the Vlog Squad is a thing, and that is what WWE feels like it is at this point. So with all that being said, guys, I guess I get that whole rant out of the way at the beginning of the show, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing on here every week talking about, some show and trying to criticize it and talk about how they might have been able to do it better at some way. If the whole freaking company is showing me that they don't care, they're telling me not to care, and I just, name one wrestler besides Roman Reigns at this point who has not been 50-50 booked. Maybe Drew McIntyre? Maybe. Even your champions, though, Bobby Lashley with the Kofi Kingston thing, their last feud, 50-50 booked. Lost to Kofi and then beat him. I don't care what the disqualification or whatever was. Still, everybody's 50-50 booked, and what that means is apathy. That's the key word of the week, guys, apathy. And that is a wrestler's worst nightmare, because all they want is to be booed or cheered. But when you get 50-50 booked, okay, here we're going to go. Here's my example this week, guys. We have Damian Priest facing Sheamus, or challenging Sheamus to the United States Championship match at SummerSlam. Didn't Damian Priest beat Sheamus already? Oh, yeah, the July 26th or something version of Raw. I've seen the match. It's just a rematch. It is just a rematch. How many times have we seen John Morrison versus Damian Priest? Oh my God, T-Bar versus Mustafa Ali. It's like I haven't seen those variations for the past 9 weeks. They have Mustafa Ali lose in his hometown of Chicago just to literally say, screw you, we don't care who your favorites are. Your women's champion is someone you can't cut a frickin' promo for her life. Good for her that she got a gimmick across. Doesn't mean it's a good gimmick, guys. Doesn't mean it's a good gimmick. Rhea Ripley cut the worst promo of all time this week, talking about light and darkness and whatever. Terrible scripting. And your main event, guys, your main event of Monday Night Raw, as they trim the fat in NXT because of age, right? Your main event was Randy Orton, who, as I look it up now, is a 41-year-old man versus AJ Styles, who is also 44 years old. Don't get me wrong, guys. AJ Styles can still go. I would love to see a World Heavyweight Championship around his waist, without a doubt. Randy Orton has been doing the same thing for how long? I love Randy Orton. I'm a mark for Randy Orton, honestly. I don't know if it's nostalgia or whatever it is. But your main event is two guys in their freaking 40s, and you're talking about how you need to trim the fat in NXT of people who are small and their ages, they're too old. It just makes no sense. It's a company that contradicts itself. Its left hand doesn't know what its right hand is doing. Everybody's 50-50 booked. It's just rematch after rematch for content's sake, so we have places that we can put sponsors and advertisements in. No, they don't care. They don't care. And in the stuff that they quote-unquote do seem to care about or actually try is awful, is really bad, you know? And I'll move on over to SmackDown as that example. You guys, I saw a lot of praise for this, you know, opening segment between Roman Reigns and John Cena. First of all, if you guys look at the picture of Roman Reigns and John Cena, they both look like weird cartoon characters. Whatever, I don't know if you've seen that. Their eyes are just like, I don't know, they're freaking airbrushed. It just looks bad. It just looks bad. Anyways, my point being is this face-to-face, guys, I saw a lot of praise for this online. John Cena gives Roman Reigns a report card, gives him a D, talks about making penis jokes, and then Roman Reigns comes out talking about the missionary position joke and then says, oh, you know, it wasn't good enough for Nikki Bella. Like, great, that's awesome. We've been through that. The man went through a breakup. Like, it's not... the delivery wasn't even that great, but that was probably the best line of the night. I don't care about this, like, work, shoot crap. Like, what are they fighting about? John Cena is literally talking about how he's going to get his butt whooped, but he's still going to somehow get a roll-up. That's essentially what John Cena said in the promo. Roman Reigns, you're going to whoop my butt, but I'm still going to get a roll-up on you. 1, 2, 3. That's all I need. He just literally talked about how he doesn't even care about the title. He doesn't even want the title. The title means nothing at this point, right? Roman Reigns put down the other title in the company during the promo. Said the World Heavyweight Championship, you might be able to win that, but you're not going to be able to win this one because it's good. That one sucks, though, over on Raw. I mean, look at Goldberg's the freaking challenger for it. Like, they're talking about, you know, Roman Reigns, John Cena stuff, and I love John Cena, and I think he legitimately is one of the best on the microphone ever, really. But this whole work shoot crap is so old at this point. Like John Cena's talking about how you're just not entertaining. What are they fighting about? Who's the more entertaining performer? You're not performers. You're professional wrestlers wrestling for titles. Like, that's the whole point about this thing. I want it to feel like a simulated sport thing where they actually care about winning, not just because one is more entertaining than the other. It's like, that's not an argument to have. Do you see, guys, would you see... Who's two big fighters? I don't know. I'm so not in the what's his name? Poirier versus Conor McGregor. Could you see the two of them going on the microphone back and forth talking about, well, Conor McGregor, you're just not as entertaining as you used to be. It's the same old stuff from you. So that's why I'm going to beat you because you're not entertaining. You're going to whoop my butt, but all I need to do is win by judges or something. Judge decision. I don't watch enough UFC, guys, as you can tell. Like that wouldn't sell a fight, and this doesn't sell a fight for me. This was just bad, weird work, shoot Paul Heyman crap because they can't come up with anything actually sports simulated related, if that makes any sense to you guys. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm trying to just, the hype for this is so bad. And yeah, it's really good to see John Cena over, but this wasn't good. This was not good. Roman Reigns had nothing to do with the fact that Dean Ambrose ran out of the company. Dean Ambrose, quote unquote, ran out of the company because he wanted to go be Jon Moxley and wrestle in a company that actually cared about professional wrestling. Didn't make him wear gas masks, make crude jokes about his best friend who's suffering from leukemia. Like, what? None of this made any sense. So, yeah, this was really bad, guys, and our standards have become so low that just because there's a slight crowd reaction and two guys know how to speak in coherent sentences about each other's personal lives, oh my gosh, this is a great promo. Like, come on with this. It wasn't good. I'm looking on Bleacher Report. I always bring up these things to make sure I can go through the entire week because there's a lot to cover in the week, and I watch it all, but I don't remember it all. Bleacher Report gave us an A+. You freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? This was not A+ stuff, guys. This was not A+ stuff. This was a solid C-, or you know what? Let's give John Cena's grade and let's give it a D because this wasn't good. It made no sense. I don't care about who's the more entertaining professional wrestler. I don't care about who's the more entertaining superstar. I don't care about John Cena's sex life. Personally, guys, just saying, I'm here to watch two guys compete to see who's the best. And if things get personal, that's great. But that's not the whole point of this whole thing. The whole point is who's the better professional wrestler. John Cena, frankly, again said, I suck. You're going to kick my butt, but I'm going to roll you up and get the 1, 2, 3. And that's what's going to happen at SummerSlam. That's the goal for John Cena. This was not good. And so you know what, guys? As I go over this whole thing, this gets your freaking low for the week because I'm gonna go out on a limb there. I know I'm probably gonna hear a lot of crap from you guys, and Logan Myers gonna have a freaking thrill day with this one, but this wasn't good. And so it gets your official low for the week, guys. Cena claiming that Roman Reigns has been pushed by WWE through failure after failure. He asked him to come back and offer a champion. He said he is coming back to offer him some humble pie. What's the humble pie, John? What's the humble pie? You just said that you're going to get your butt whooped and then try to get a 1, 2, 3 count on him somehow, some way. That's not humble pie. You just said that he's going to kick your butt and that you're going to somehow try to manage. Essentially, you're going to be Rey Mysterio in the Hell in a Cell match, is what John Cena, your 16-time world champion, said. I don't care about them talking about how the backstage protects Roman Reigns. Again, this work shoot stuff is crap, guys. So, nonetheless, it's not 2017 again, guys. At least that was a little bit better because it was fun to watch Roman Reigns just flounder in that. But this wasn't good. So, let's move on to some good stuff throughout the week, though, guys. Oh, but before we do, I want to mention that, yes, Doudrop sold a wink from a CGI doll this week on wrestling television, so that was great. I told you about the 14 rematches that went on Raw. NXT, just, guys, I can't be interested. I can't be interested. The opening match sucked. Why would you put, I know Ember Moon obviously was supposed to be in that spot, but out of all the people to put in that spot, you put Dakota Kai. Like, Saray shouldn't have taken a loss here, and Dakota Kai shouldn't have been the person. If you wanted Dakota Kai to get a win, to get that all-important momentum before NXT TakeOver, don't put her against Saray. Put her against, Aaliyah. But wait, guys, they did that this week. If you go on over to Main Event, because everybody here watches that show, but if you go on over to Main Event this week, Aaliyah pinned Dakota Kai. Aaliyah pinned babyface Dakota Kai. Excuse me. Yes, she worked as a babyface on Main Event because there's no continuity in this freaking company. Anybody remember when they called up Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano while they were in super well thought out great feud on NXT? Vince McMahon calls them up, put them in a tag team. What? Again, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, guys. I thought Ilya Dragunov didn't cut it this week. I really thought that he didn't sell the fight very well. The whole thing with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne beat Ilya Dragunov on NXT. I don't care if it was hook or crook. It was a terrible distraction nonetheless. And you had Pete Dunne going over your NXT UK champion. You've gone all this effort to put all these videotapes in and make this, whatever, their prime target things that they do. And then Ilya Dragunov gets pinned on NXT TV. You couldn't be more stupid and unable to book a professional wrestling company. Some of this stuff, guys. I bitched and moaned about the SmackDown opening segment. Sorry, guys. I tweeted this a while ago, but Apollo Crews is gone, and so is Commander Aziz. They will be on the next release train, I guarantee you that, and it sucks because Apollo Crews is one of the most talented wrestlers in the world and will probably go to AEW and will probably kick absolute butt because he's incredible. He is incredible and put a lot of work into this character. That's working. They just stopped putting in, the effort behind him, and we haven't seen him in forever, and the Intercontinental title now means nothing. So, cool. Did anybody feel super underwhelmed when Shinsuke Nakamura won that belt? It meant nothing. It was cute. I like to see Pat McAfee, which is the light of my life in this darkness that is WWE every week. It was hilarious with Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura, and I'm happy for Shinsuke. But he won a title that meant nothing. He might as well have won the 24/7 championship. So we got more Street Profits Alpha Academy stuff. Seen that 1,000 times. And, this main event contract signing between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Didn't we just have a contract signing, as the main event last week? I don't know. Anyways, just filler stuff at this point, why is Sasha Banks coming back and saying, you didn't give me the credit I deserved for making you have a great match at WrestleMania? Yeah, cool. You're supposed to be competing. You're competitors competing for titles. It doesn't matter how good your match is. That is a byproduct of good professional wrestling and good storytelling. It's not there was none of that, by the way, pre-WrestleMania. They just cut all that out of the promo for it. But it's a byproduct of great storytelling professional wrestling. It's not about how good the match is. F your SB. You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's about the storytelling and competing and seeing who is the best. We're supposed to believe that these people want to be the best wrestlers, not the best performers, and put on the best show for you guys. Like, welcome to SmackDown. Who cares? You're a professional wrestling company, or you're not, I guess, because Vince McMahon doesn't want to be that. But it's just, I want to watch pro wrestling. I don't want to watch two people compete to see who's better at putting on a good match. I don't care about that. So let's move on to some good stuff this week, guys, though. With that all being said, I know I ranted a lot in some WWE stuff. I insert my same complaints about all stuff AEW women's division wise. By the way, Chris Statlander had a great match on Dynamite. It was super short, but I thought she showed up and showed out. But yes, insert all of my normal complaints. No storytelling for this Britt Baker Red Velvet thing. Why did they turn Red Velvet heel for one match in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? That was so stupid. Literally inept storytelling. I don't have the energy to go on and on about it again. But some good stuff that went on this week in wrestling. On SmackDown, I love Seth Rollins' promo towards Edge. I think Seth Rollins does such a good job. He just understands heat. And he understands that he's annoying, and his voice is annoying, and he knows how to use it. And it was a great suit. Once again, another amazing suit from Seth Rollins. I love the content of what he talked about. It was probably my favorite thing from any WWE television all week. And otherwise, guys, let's just get into your official high for the week, because I've talked a lot about all the stuff that went on already this week, and talk about the opening match on Dynamite that was Dante Martin and the Sydal brothers versus the Elite, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega. If you guys listened to my Dynamite review show, you knew I was all about this match. I loved what they did. The Sydal brothers are great workers, and if for those of you who don't watch Dynamite, Matt Sydal was the former Evan Bourne in ECW, WWE's version of ECW, and he used to just be the shooting star press. Like, Matt Sydal is so much more than a really pretty shooting star press at this point. He has refined himself technically. He's a great submission wrestler, technical wrestler, high flyer wrestler. Like, he's just a really good general at this point, and has really become a great veteran for AEW to have, and just a great hand. And it's nothing to take away from Mike Sydal, who is also amazing as well. Dante Martin from Top Flight got an amazing showing in this match. I'd like to see Top Flight versus the Young Bucks for the the AEW Tag Team titles. I'd really like to see that match, and I'd like to see Top Flight be able to take those titles off them at some point. Dante Martin's really, I think Dante Martin is younger than I am. Makes me feel like I have done nothing with my life. Anyways, though, Kenny Omega gave him a crap ton of offense in this match, but it didn't look forced. It looked very organic. It just looked like Dante Martin got the better of Kenny Omega. And I got into a lot of this on the Dynamite review show as well, but we had this great story beat of Kenny Omega possibly doubting the One-Winged Angel and not being able to get the job done after Dante Martin reversed it. So instead, obviously, the Young Bucks hit the BTE trigger to get the win. But Dante Martin, some of the stuff he did in this match was unbelievable. The flippy-dippy stuff, but just the counters, and literally looked like he levitated in air half the time. It's just unbelievable what this guy can do in the ring. And none of it looked forced and spotty. It was all very well, mixed together in a story of a match. And that is what Kenny Omega is so good at. That is what, makes it so he can be one of the greatest wrestlers in the world right now. He just knows how to tell a great story in the ring. This was just your typical trios match on Dynamite, right? But became this amazing thing because of the story that they were able to tell. Kenny Omega is such a details guy. And, Dante Martin got over in this. The crowd bit on all the falls, which is amazing. You have a young guy like Dante Martin almost pinning your AEW World Champion. That's pretty crazy, and you get the entire crowd biting on each fall. Just a really entertaining and competitive, competitive professional wrestling match. So this gets the high for the week without a doubt. And I'm going to go on over to your random match recommendation of the week, guys, which is none other than Seth Rollins versus Cesaro in NXT on December 7th, 2011, guys. Where was Cesaro on SmackDown this week? I don't know. I didn't forget about him, though, and I want to give both these guys some credit. This is a real diamond in the rough kind of match, but go check it out if you haven't seen this. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins in NXT, again, December 7th, 2011. That's your random match recommendation of the week. That's all from me, guys, on your highs and lows. Sorry to be so negative, but I'm really not sorry to be so negative. I take that back because I'm just telling you guys my opinion on what's being given to me. And really, if you want to hear me be positive, you can go listen to me review a show that actually cares about professional wrestling and its fans. So, with all that being said, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you next time.